Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria Q. Kane.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mother Knows Death. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Chad Michael Murray, otherwise known as Jake from Freaky Friday. They have a new sequel that just came out, and he was recently interviewed and talked about a hospitalization he had as a teenager. We're going to talk about a singer that was on a competition TV show who had a really excruciating tear on her vulva and other weird injuries that happened while she was filming. A woman who was just randomly dancing on a roof and fell through the chimney, a dead infant that was in a hearse, but it's not what you would think, and a specific ear piercing you may be able to get to make migraines go away. All that and more on today's episode. Let's talk about Jake.
He's Tristan from Gilmore Girls, so get it right, because that was first.
Oh, I didn't watch Gilmore Girls. I don't know, but he's like the teen heartthrob. Is he still good looking?
He's not really my type, but he left us in the Gilmore Girls universe to go on One Tree Hill. Then he was in, I think, Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff. He was totally like my era, millennial era, like heartthrob, right? He was always in those teen magazines I used to buy.
We're going to go see that this weekend, right?
Yeah.
I really want to see it.
Of course we are. Isn't that where Make Good Choices comes from? I don't know if people know this. When you drop the kids off at school, you say make good choices when they get out of the car. And I think it's from the movie.
I thought it was from Mean Girls.
Oh, I thought it was
maybe
from the original
maybe it's
Freaky
not.
Friday.
I thought it was like Amy Poehler and Mean Girls that was dropping off the kid. I don't know.
Anyway, Chad Michael Murray was on the Great Company podcast and revealed that when he was 15, he spent over 2 months in the hospital because his intestines were, quote, twisted.
So just based upon the little information that was given in this article, I think that what happened was since he was still considered to be a kid, he probably had this condition called intestinal malrotation, which is when you're a fetus and you're developing, your intestines kind of twist and then they move themselves into a proper position. And sometimes they don't twist in the right way and don't go into the proper position, because think about it, it's like your intestines are like a hose. Like if you have a hose outside, it's a hose that's like finely woven into the abdomen like that. And if it's not in the right place, those loops of the hose are able to twist on each other. And what happened in his case was that they twisted on each other and it could cut off the blood supply to the bowel. But not only that, it also cuts off the hose itself, which is responsible from bringing your food from your mouth to your anus, right? So when two ends of the intestines are clipped off like that, the bowel can start dilating and getting very big, and that's called a volvulus. And that could lead to a lot of different things. That could make it kind of just get so big that it bursts or it perforates and all of the poop that's inside of there gets inside the abdomen, and it could cause a person to become septic, and I mean, you could die from it. It also could cause that portion of the bowel to die, and you have to get it surgically removed, which honestly, he said he was in the hospital for 2.5 months, so I'm thinking that like one of these major complications happened from that, because he seemed like he got really sick to the point where he was talking about like
last
rites and God, and like, you know, so things got really bad there for him for a while, and I'm glad that he survived this. But this is something that I've seen from time to time in pathology for sure.
So something really cool from this story is he was saying that the nurses were all like fawning over him, telling him he should be a model, and he was not necessarily interested in being a model, but was interested in being an actor. But I guess one of the nurses was like, no, I have like a connect at a modeling agency. Let me hook you up. And she did follow through with that. And then he started an acting career shortly after. I mean, I think he was born in 1983. So if he was 15 when that happened, that was like, what, 1998? So he was on Gilmore Girls. It had to be like 2000, 2001 that he was on that show. So it seemed like it went pretty well for him pretty quickly.
Do you think this nurse takes responsibility for discovering him?
Maybe.
Like he is like very handsome. Like he does have a very
handsome
like
guy.
charming.
He's just not my type. I'm not
Yeah.
really into blondes.
I'm not either, but I could recognize he has like a very like charming way about him. So that's pretty cool that the nurse was like, I'm gonna call one of my connections, and then like it ended up working out. That's so cool.
Yeah, totally. And it's cool that he's in Freaky Friday, and I guess he's in Freakier Friday and stuff. I honestly forgot he was in that movie, but I'm looking
I
forward to
didn't, because
seeing it this weekend.
it's very bizarre, like the way Jamie Lee Curtis is like acting with him, because technically she's the kid. So,
Yeah.
but like it's just weird to watch it because she's an adult like flirting with a child, like a teenage boy. So I love that movie. I can't wait to see part 2. And
No,
Lindsay
it's gonna be
Lohan.
cool.
Oh God, please tell me who's taking care of your face, because I want that.
Her and
She
Anne
looks so
Hathaway
good.
have the best work I've ever seen in my life.
I know. They just look so good. I'm just like, please share your secrets.
And I don't know if you saw that picture of Larsa Pippen that was going around last
Oh,
week.
yeah.
That she's claiming she had an allergic reaction to whatever she got done. I'm like, no, I think you're just really going overboard. And she was so beautiful before she started trying to turn herself
could
into
say-
a Kardashian.
You
so
could say that about all of these people. It's really sad. All right, so let's talk about this singer that was on one of these competition shows.
So there's a show called Celebrity SAS, Who Dares Win, which I've never heard of. So when I looked it up, it's in the UK. I guess our version of the show is called Special Forces, where they have celebrities go on and try to do military training, and then they survive it or they don't.
Yeah.
But in this case, singer Lucy Spraggan, she's on the show, and she revealed that during one of the stunts, her vulva ended up getting ripped.
Oh my God.
This sounds horrible.
I do understand what was happening, because it seems like she had like a harness around her thighs,
Mm-hmm.
and that could cause a tear in the skin if the force is great enough. That would cause an actual laceration, right?
Maybe you should use this as the example.
Yeah, and I just keep thinking about that, and just the vulva is in such a really like delicate place, because it is also around the crease of your leg, and just imagine how difficult it is trying to heal a wound like that. Of course, if you're like a sexually active adult too, that would also just be a terrible location to get such an injury. So that one just sounds like really painful, and at the time she felt like she thought something happened, but then it was something that she feels she has to get surgically repaired because it was that bad.
I don't know why anybody wants to go on these shows.
I
They
don't
sound
either.
So horrible.
It's like it. I mean, there is something to be said about doing something out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself to do something you wouldn't normally do, just to say that you did it. But like, yeah, that to me is like, I do watch those shows all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. I could see like the Survivor ones and stuff, but this particular one, I'm just like, absolutely not.
I think Dr. Drew was
He
on
did-
Special
he
Force and
was.
he got really sick.
And
didn't
wasn't
he?
Yeah, something happened with him, and something happened with Kate, like John and Kate plus 8 Kate.
Oh, you know
she-
who's going to be on the next season? They
Oh, I
just
saw-
announced the cast. Jesse Smollett.
Yeah, and isn't there was somebody else. Is Teresa Giudice?
Teresa and her daughter are going to be on it.
Oh my God! There was somebody. I don't think I saw that it was Jesse Smollett. Like,
yeah, he just
which is-
conveniently was like on the bottom of the list. Like, we're just going to slip him into the cast.
There
and-
was someone else too that I was thinking, like, God, I never imagined these people being in the same room together. This is so bizarre.
There was
But-
a lot of Bravo people, I feel like, on it. Yeah, there was just a bunch of totally unusual suspects going into
Yeah.
it.
Not
But
not interested. Especially so this lady had she said that she had filler in her face, and she said she fell on her face, and it like dislodged the filler, so when it healed, it was like in another area of her face. I'm just like, okay, that's something I didn't even think of before, but
Then she knocked the tooth out. She said she fainted during another stunt.
yeah.
I think with the filler, too, it gave her an appearance of a black eye, and it didn't go away by the time she had
Oh
her
my God.
wedding. So, like, now that's in her wedding photos, and it's like, was it worth it? I just hope going on this show is worth it for all the shit she had to go through.
Yeah, no thanks.
No. All right, this one is so ridiculous. Police were called after a woman was seen dancing on the roof of a park building before climbing into the chimney and getting stuck.
Yeah. And so, like, the fire department had to come and do a rope rescue and get this lady out because she was 3 feet into the chimney. And this is like the old Santa Claus thing. Like, people get stuck. It's not like she could come out the other side and, like, out of the bottom like Santa does. She was stuck in the middle of it.
What I found funny is they were saying they were getting reports of a dancing woman on the roof, and then um more calls came in a little bit later because she went in the chimney and then people heard her screaming.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
mean,
like,
clearly she was on something, right? Like, what was that
she's
about?
either has a mental situation going on, or I feel like she was super drunk or on drugs or something, because she's 30 years old. They said she was conscious and alert when they retrieved her. They ended up getting her out with minimal injuries, but definitely not advised to go in a chimney.
Exactly.
This episode is brought to you by The Gross Room.
Guys, tune in tomorrow to the Gross Room at 12 o'clock at noon East time. We do our live session and it's so awesome. We're going to talk about some stories that we didn't talk about on Mother Knows Death, as well as it's really interactive with the Gross Room members, which is cool. And we're really starting to get to know them and just talk about different things that we do talk about in the Gross Room and then we don't. And then if you can't join in for the live session, we also have the recording there so you could watch it afterwards whenever you want as well, but it's exclusive to Gross Room members only.
Head over to thegrossroom.com now to sign up and get your exclusive access info. Okay, so over the weekend, the body of a 1-year-old girl was found in the back of a hearse by funeral home staff, and now the baby's mother has been arrested for the murder.
This story is so bizarre because someone at the funeral home called their boss and was like, I thought there was a doll in the hearse, and it turns out that it's a dead baby, like not in a casket or anything. Imagine getting that phone call as a business owner and hearing that.
Well, the headline is kind of confusing because the headlines of anytime I looked this up, it was like dead child found in hearse, but like a hearse is intended to transport dead bodies, right? So it's confusing what happens. But I don't know what was going on with this mother. The baby had evidence of strangulation, so did she kill the baby and put them in there as some weird grieving thing? I can't understand it.
Do you know how they figured out? Because obviously, like, you find a baby, you call the baby's dead, you call the medical examiner. What did they do to determine that that's the mom? Like, how did they find her?
I'm not really sure how they ended up locating the mother.
Yeah, I was just wondering,
But
like,
it
was
was
she a
quick.
former employee or, yeah, it was quick. That's what I was saying. Like, obviously, I know that they can do DNA because, like, the easiest thing to do is like dental records, which obviously aren't going to be available for an infant. So they could do DNA, but that usually doesn't come back so fast. So I was just wondering, like, how they had her as a suspect so fast
They could have had her on video and
or something.
somebody and
Yeah,
recognized her. I mean, I understand they could do DNA, but I think they got the mom with like in under 24 hours. So I don't
yeah.
think it would come back that fast. And yeah, I would say probably not, even if they did
Yeah, it's
testing
just
and she
such
was in the system, right?
God, it's such a weird thing to like. This reminds me of a story that actually has really nothing to do with this, but I don't know why it reminded me of this one time. So we were working at the hospital, and of course, there's always dead bodies in the morgue that we pull in from the refrigerator, and so like we're not scared to see a dead body. So one day, Frank and I are eating lunch, and we go back because we just were like going in the morgue to do some stuff, and so we go back in the morgue together, and we walk in and there's just a dead lady on a gurney, like no body bag, no toe tag. She's just dead on a gurney in the morgue. It was just like so weird.
So not in the hallway, like
Not in the hallway.
She was put in the morgue,
Not,
but not.
but she wasn't in the morgue refrigerator. She was just like laying on a gurney next to the autopsy table. So we're like, who the hell is this? Why the hell is this person here? Because normally when we do an autopsy, like the bodies are in the refrigerator. We pull them into the autopsy room. They're in a body bag. They have all of this identification on them, like a toe tag. And there's also a toe tag tied to the body bag, too. And we just went in there and we were like, she was like warm. And we had no idea who she was. We were just like,
Where'd
so
you
then it's
come
like
from?
you have to go to the boss and just be like, so there's a dead lady in the morgue. We don't know who she is. We don't know where she came from. And it ended up like it was because sometimes other places would use our morgue to do like external autopsies and stuff like that. So it was like something to do with that. But it just like I guess the guy who brought her was in the bathroom. It just was like this weird timing that we just walked in. It just was like very shocking to us even so it's I feel like it's the same thing, like you work at a funeral home, you see dead babies and you see dead people all the time, but it's just like an unusual circumstance to go into the hearse and see a baby there not where they're supposed to be, not in a casket, and just being like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah, and they said they thought it was a doll at first. It's that is like something in true crime stories when somebody's like, I thought it was a mannequin. Like, it's so disturbing to
It
me.
really is, yeah.
All right, so this woman said she was having 5 to 7 headaches a week with blurred vision and pressure in her head. She didn't think really anything was that bad until her partner said she couldn't remember her last name. She starts looking into medical advice, learning about different kinds of triggers, just doing a bunch of research, and she comes upon this unusual technique of a daith piercing.
So I had a lot of piercings in my day because they were really popular in the 90s. So I had like my eyebrow and my nose and my lip and everything done. I was going to the same guy all the time, and he said to me, I want to try this new piercing on an ear. It's called a daith. And I was like, okay, whatever, because I was just like down for it. And I thought that it looked really cool. But I will tell you, when I got that piercing, like I almost blacked out. It hurt so freaking bad.
Really?
And I have like a very high tolerance for pain. I didn't really like I remember being like, dude, you just pierced like my head. It wasn't even my ear because it's the inside of the cartilage against your head that's right above your ear canal. And I had the piercing there for a while because I didn't ever even want to touch it because it hurt so bad getting it. I was like scared to death, and I finally took it out, I think, actually when I had to get like an MRI for something. That was when it was like I had to take it out. It was probably closer to when I was having childbirth. You know what I mean? Like when I had to get that test done, and it hurt. It just like I don't know. I don't really know because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like I don't know if I really did have migraines until. No, I did. I had migraines when I had it, so I don't think that that's even a thing. But people think that you're pushing on an acupuncture point and it is helping people with migraines. But then, like, the American Migraine Foundation has had to come out and say there's no evidence that this is actually a thing and it might be like a placebo.
But let's put on our tinfoil hats for a minute. Are they financially backed by
Well,
big pharma migraine companies?
I was going to say that because, like, I've had migraines my whole life, and it's just like they always want to put me on these medicines, right? And then when I finally figured out that like I had one of these genes for celiac, and then I was like, maybe I'm having a problem with gluten, and I stopped taking the gluten myself, and essentially cured myself of having the same thing this girl was having, which was like 5 to 7 days a week of excruciating, debilitating migraines. And I went to the migraine, I was going to like a migraine specialist neurologist and just saying like, hey, do you think there's anything to this? I stopped eating gluten a month ago and like I haven't had any headaches as much. Maybe I get like once a month now as opposed to once a day almost, it seemed like. And they were like, oh, yeah, sometimes. And I was like, you didn't think to mention that to me before I was taking drugs?
No, they don't ask you any of this stuff because I went to the migraine specialist. I was getting same as this girl, like multiple a week. It was to the point where I felt like I was going to pass out driving once, and that's where I was like, I really have to go get this taken care of. You go there, they barely talk to you. They talk to you for 10 minutes and they're like, "Oh, here's an anti-seizure medication and then
Topamax, which is freaking terrible. Like it seriously, I think it permanently damaged my brain, but like when I was on that, I could not talk. But I couldn't get like what it was in my head out of my mouth. It was terrible.
But when I went on it, they didn't say any of the side effects I was going to have. I only knew what was happening because you had been on it for so long and you told me what side effects I would have, and I had all of them. And if I didn't know that going in, like tingling in your fingertips all the time, things taste weird for a little bit, slow speech. I would have thought I had a brain tumor and died. Like, I wouldn't have known any of that going in.
Yeah, so I think, like, I'm thinking about this with the exception of, the excruciating pain. And I know people that have had this piercing done and they didn't think it was bad. Maybe I just had a guy that didn't do it good or something. I don't know. But why would you? I mean, I guess with piercings, there's always a risk of infection and things like that. But why would you tell people, like, go out of your way to be like, there's no evidence that this works? Like, let them freaking try it if they want to try it. It's a
Well, that's
piercing.
what I'm calling bullshit, because if it works for some, like, think I bought those nausea bracelets for the cruise, for example, right? I didn't end up needing them on the cruise, but last week I had a pretty horrible 24-hour stomach thing where I was throwing up for like 12 hours. And I used them, and it really did help with the nausea, because it's supposedly pressing on like an acupuncture point, right? So if it works for some people, it might not for others, but if it's helping her, let her do it. Like, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I guess as a medical organization, you have to say, like, there's
You
no
can
medical
say-
evidence of this, but, like, I don't even know why they would put out a statement about it. Just, like, let people, it's not anything insane to me that you're like, oh, really, you shouldn't do this because you could get really hurt. It's just kind of like an ear piercing. Relax.
Exactly. You could put out a thing that's like, listen, we don't have any studies that back up that this works, but like, if it works for you, good,
Yeah.
go for it. But yeah, she's saying since she got it done, well, she was saying at first she figured if it didn't work, whatever, she has a cute little piercing now, but she has noticed some difference.
Yeah. So if you want to try it.
But also know that some things don't work for everybody. But it does make me think about what's going on behind the scenes. Sarah was the first thing I thought of.
Of course. And I bet you if you went on their website, you would see like Ubrelvy and blah, 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 blah. Like, you know how these places roll.
No, I can't trust anything after the Oxycontin documentary. I mean, that truly changed my life. I will say it every episode.
The thing is, though, is that you can't be like, you can't be anti-pharmacy either, though, because there are some drugs that are miracles that help a lot of people.
No, I'm totally
it's-
not against medicine. I'm just saying in instances like this,
No,
you
yeah.
should question
Yeah.
what's going on behind the scenes. No, medicine's awesome, but
It's just weird because it's just like, you know how everything in life is like you got to be so extreme in either direction. It's like I feel the same way with medicine. It's like there's lots of natural things that you could do. I guess, like, I would say, like, getting a piercing on a acupuncture pressure point would be considered like one of those non-medical intervention things. And then medicine helps in situations too. Like, it's not like all homeopathic or all medicine. It's just like a combination of both, and then everybody would be happy.
well, that's how
And feel
everybody
good.
should be about everything in
Yeah.
life. You have to be one side or the other. I mean, we saw it with the Kara Reed thing. If you're not on one side, people
Not
really
not
like yelling at
everything
you.
though. I think that there's certain things that we are definitely hardcore, like pedophilia being one of them. I'm not in the middle on that at all. That's
No,
just like,
I'm not either.
yeah. You like go away and get abolished off the face of the earth kind of thing. But okay, well, that's
Right,
it for
well,
today.
Yeah, we're going to be at CrimeCon in just a couple weeks, which I can't believe how quickly this is coming up. Please leave us reviews on Apple or Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have a question, a story, or you just want to leave us a comment, please email it to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
Have a good weekend, guys. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day, and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.